Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bikini and the Brain. I'm here with the lovely three-time Miss Bikini Olympia, two-time Miss Arnold. What do you mean it's not even Miss Arnold? It's Arnold Classic Bikini Champion, Ashley Caldwell.
Yeah, that's what they call me around here. Yes. Hi, how's everyone doing out there in the internet world? We are doing our first podcast in your new house.
Yeah.
Until we get the new setup at the gym, but this is much better than what we've been working with previously.
Yeah,
so.
Hopefully the sound's a little bit better. We're getting closer and closer being profesh.
Yeah, we're trying to.
Yeah, we'll probably get maybe one or two more podcast episodes where it's not 100% sound, but we're getting there. We're getting professional. So today's episode's a really good episode.
Heck yeah, it is. Just like every episode. Come on, let's be real. I mean,
But, and because we came from a cool meeting today.
Yes.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, we were meeting up with one of the, coordinators of the Olympia. He plays a big role in the whole event. And his name is Dan Sullivan. And I'm actually shooting tomorrow for the Olympia wear line. So that's going to be fun. I'm going to be shooting with some of my fellow Olympia competitors. So yeah, it'll be nice to see everyone. Nice to get some merch and do my thing.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. Super motivating. But he told us some pretty cool things about the Olympia, and yeah, it's gonna be on, guys. It's gonna be on. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And they're trying their best to make it happen as easy as possible for the attendees and all the athletes. So it was a really positive meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you guys know too, we just met with him, and he's so passionate about it and was so excited about it. He's like, we're really trying. Whatever they're going to allow us to do, we're going to do it. But as of right now, he said, just so you guys know, there's zero chance it's not going to happen, the Olympia event, zero chance. Now, attendees and whatnot, that's going to be kind of the factor they're waiting on the government. And so we're just waiting on some final news for that. But the show's 100% going to happen, whether it's live streamed only or whatever. Even that's very low odds that it's only going to be live streamed. The odds are it's happening with the event, with people there, with a good amount of people there too. As of right now, the numbers are pretty high what they're allowing there. So yeah, so we'll see what happens as it goes on, but they're going to do their best shot to be 100%. Everything they can do, they're going to do. So, and they're even getting government involved in writing the governor and trying to get even more stuff too. So as long as it's safe, they have to come with a safe game plan. Now that's the whole thing too.
Yes.
But you guys might have guessed it. This episode is about, you go right ahead.
The road to Olympia, guys. The road to Olympia. We are 41 days. I can check what the official count is right now because I haven't pulled up. We 41 days, 21 hours, 18 minutes, and 6 seconds till the Olympia.
It's pretty crazy.
What?
When the countdowns start, you know it's getting serious.
The countdown, man. That's how many weeks is that? That's
how many days?
41 days. So that's
yeah. So 48 days would be 28 would be, yeah. So we're talking 6.5 weeks, something like that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. It'll pass by so fast. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is an episode dedicated to Olympia and what we're going to do to prepare, what our thoughts are, and maybe a little bit of predictions. I don't know. I don't like to dabble too much in predictions since I am a competitor. It's kind of weird to give my own. Yeah, that's weird. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Yeah. To give my own predictions is strange, but we can just talk about some of that stuff. But yeah, so the Olympia, guys, as you guys know, I took a week off from my show. My last show that was in Texas. It went really well. I don't know if we reported that on any of our podcast platform. I know if they're following us on Instagram or YouTube, they might know, but maybe our podcast listeners don't know. It went really well in Texas, and I'm very pleased with the package I brought, and I got first, and yeah.
And with a perfect score.
Yeah, so we did get some good feedback at that show, and it's nothing really physique-wise. In fact, Sandy said, you look good, don't change anything. But from another judge's perspective, maybe I can fix a few posing things. But that's definitely fair critique. That is an ongoing struggle with me, is finding my right presentation and something that fits for me. So
yeah. So one of the things was potentially not having the oblique line so sharp, which is always a thing. We've already known that for forever. So we're going to try to hopefully change that a little bit. And that's a cool thing for other people to learn in bikini. And I think I want to use like this episode to talk about what we're going to be doing with Ashley, but how you can also apply it to your physique when you're getting on stage or just when you're transforming your physique, and some of the kind of the tricks that we're going to do going into Olympia that maybe you can use in your own preps as well. It is very specific, but we can kind of relate it to everyone, I think. And so one of them is going to be, you know, that oblique line that we talked about a little bit. Another one is your legs. Like, what do you do when your legs are starting to get too developed?
And just backtracking a little bit with the oblique line, I want to specify what was told to me is that I do have a small waist, especially from the front. So I should show more from the front than the side, because the side I get, you guys know I'm abolitious AF, and that's on accident. I never train abs, unfortunately, but also fortunately, I guess. I can't complain about having too crispy abs. I get really crispy in the abs, and I don't want them to be like that. I don't train them to be like that. It's just genetics. So anyway, backtrack, and then the legs. Sorry.
Yeah. So as far as the legs go, the legs get a little bit thick from time to time. So we have to really be conscious of how hard we're training them, how often we're training them. And some of you, here's the thing that I've run into with a lot of bikini competitors, is that you love to work out. And I think that that's great. And you know, that's part of it. You know, the enjoyment factor in competing is a huge part of it. So when we look at a competitor who really likes to work out and likes to lift heavy, if you want to stay in bikini and you are one of those people and your legs are starting to get too developed, like it is a choice you kind of have to make at a certain point. You have to say, okay, do I want to compete in bikini and continue to compete in bikini and then reduce my leg workouts to maybe even no leg workouts for periods? Or do I like lifting more than competing, and I want to lift like a boss and keep training like a bodybuilder type of scenario? Because now, and that's a huge factor and a huge kind of crossroads for a lot of people, where they decide. Because I've had bikini pros where they've gotten to the point where they're too muscular. Like Julia, if you remember Julia, she was one of those ones. And during I was like, hey, you just got to like stop working out. Your legs are getting too jacked. But she really liked working out. So she kind of found a balance where in the off season, she'd work them out, and the in season she would reduce and that type of thing. Mm-hmm. So, but it is one of those factors. And I don't know if for you mentally, you've kind of gotten to the point where you're like, I'm cool with not and just doing cardio.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I'm like one of those people that like, I'm okay with taking a week off after a show or decreasing my lifting. One thing that gets to my mind more than anything though is switching up my diet. Like I felt super uncomfortable when you had me carb load, you know what I mean? That's what gets me like nervous, because I'm like, oh, you know, I've changed up the diet. But as far as training, no, not so much. And yeah, I mean, I don't think necessarily my legs are too thick, but in comparison to my upper body, yes. Yeah. So that's something we're always trying to balance out, the upper body to the lower. My lower body puts on muscle a lot faster than the upper. Upper is like an ongoing struggle for me. Yeah. So we just got to make sure that when we're training, we're spending most of our time on the upper body rather than the lower body.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that especially like bikini competitors got to look at. You got to look at your physique. And when we say thicker, it's like thicker in comparison to the upper body. It's more developed than the upper body. Her hamstrings get, you know, really round and really developed.
They have their own hamstrings.
Yeah, your hamstrings have their own hamstrings. I think you have like an extra muscle in your hamstring that people don't have. It's kind of like if you look at like Phil Heath in his tricep, he's got like muscles in his tricep that don't make sense. You're like, why do you have that extra muscle in there? You know, and it looks super 3D. So your hamstrings are really round.
Have you guys seen my hamstring twerk videos, by the way? It's spectacular.
She can't twerk. Yeah, she can't twerk her glutes. Like the girls can shake their glutes, but hers can't shake. But only her hamstrings flap. It's so funny.
Got like bingo wings. You know the bingo, like the
bingo arms.
The bingo arms. That's how it is with my hamstrings.
It's the funniest thing. It's so funny. But yeah, so those get a little developed. So obviously, you know, her crushing hamstrings going into the Olympia, that's not going to be a thing that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so I think that everyone really needs to look at their routine and specify it to them. Mm-hmm. And that's like another thing with like workout. There's a big difference with people that don't understand. There's a big difference of training like a bodybuilder. Mm-hmm. And that's why honestly, a lot of bodybuilders aren't good at coaching bikini girls, because they don't understand. They're like,
they don't have the eye.
Yeah, they don't have the eye. And they're just like, no, if she wants to train her glutes, work her glutes, she needs to do squats and deadlifts. And I'm like, no, they need to do a lot of isolation stuff and pretty much avoid a lot of those other exercises. Like you might do some, but that's not the thing. You don't do compound crazy movements of squats and deadlifts all the time for a bikini competitor who wants to keep her waistline small. Mm-hmm. Like it's very specific. Like this is very specific sculpting routine. Yes. And you got to look at your physique and you got to like look at the pluses and minuses that you can get away with in your routine. So for example, Ashley her legs are a little more developed than her upper body. They were perfectly balanced. I would say honestly, they're pretty close to perfectly balanced now. I mean, obviously she's
We're
super,
just
super
being
heavy.
picky at this point.
Yeah, we're being super picky. Her shoulders at the beginning of the year were a little more developed and her balance was a little better. So we're gonna not work out the legs and spend a lot of time on getting the shoulders to be bigger. So at the same time that we're growing the shoulders, we're gonna be kind of shrinking the legs to some capacity by doing less leg working out, by doing more endurance-based cardio, which is gonna get her legs to be a little bit smaller. And then when we find that perfect balance, we say, okay, now let's work the legs again. Let's reduce total shoulders to 2 times a week or something, and not go as hard. So it's like this whole balancing act with bikini, and you really need to like work on sculpting your physique. And so I get a lot of people who want to like switch up their workout routine like every single time they're in the gym because it's more fun. I'm like, well, you got to understand, like there's things you do for fun when you start with fitness, and then there's things you do for purpose.
Yes.
And if you're at the sculpting stage of bikini, you're going to get a lot of repetitive workouts. I'm sorry, but it's not going to be the most fun CrossFit workout every single time they switch up to a different type of workout for CrossFit. You know, that's just not how it goes in bikini. So if you're going to go in a very specific, this is what I need to fix, this is what I need to focus on type of routine for maybe months at a time. So you know, that's my approach at least, and it's worked out really well for me. So so anyway, yeah, I guess you could go into what else goes into like the mind of a top level competitor getting ready for the bikini competition. I think that the listeners can really kind of take in from that. Like, how does your mindset change going into these shows, these bigger shows, versus any show?
Well, okay, I'm going to say this in a way, and hopefully it's not taken wrong. The Olympia is not as fun as other shows. It's more business. Well, for me anyway, not necessarily business, like I'm going to make a business deal, but like it's serious business. Like it's a big deal. It is fun, but not, it's more like intense.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, I get that.
It's like, not like I'm just like, oh, you know, I'll just jump into the show.
I think if you were like referencing intense. It, you'd be like, okay, it's a pickup basketball game you're playing with your friends versus like the NBA championships.
Yes. And it definitely is nerve wracking, and I'm already nervous for it, like already. And I guess it's just like, not only is it a big show, but it's the last show of the year. It's your final statement of the year. And whether we like it or not, people are going to remember your placing at the Olympia rather than everything else that happened earlier in the year.
Yeah.
So it's a little tricky because it's definitely a mind game. And I know it is what it is. And there's so many good girls that are competing. Every single year it gets harder and harder and harder.
Yeah.
Because their talent pool is so deep. It's crazy. It's insane. Every year the girls get better. There's more of them that come from all over the world. And it is just, it's tough. It is tough. And that's why, you know, one of the most common questions I get is like, how do you expect to do at the Olympia? Or, you know, you think you're going to win again? And I always answer it the same way I answer any show. It's like, regardless of what show it is, I never really come in with the expectations necessarily. The only, I guess, expectations or goals I would have is to come in my best, to not leave anything on the table, just to know that I did everything in my power to bring this package to the stage in the best form it can possibly be, and without making any stupid mistakes. Because you guys know I'm afraid of stupid mistakes, you know? So I never like to say that I expect any certain placing, but I will say everyone there deserves to be there. Everyone there has a shot of winning. You know, you could take anybody from the top 10 and no one would have any problem, like if they were first. It's just so tight. So I never want any expectations as far as placing is concerned, but I do want to perform well with, you know, just my physique and my package. I want to see improvements. I want to make sure that I don't have anything left in me, that I have any woulda, coulda, shouldas. That is the worst feeling in the entire world, is a woulda, coulda, shoulda. Like, what if I would have tried harder? What if I would have practiced my routine more? I should have done that. I might have done better. That's a horrible feeling to have. So like, as long as I can eliminate that, you know, I can't be too mad at myself, regardless of the placing. Because like I said, it could go any which way. And I think a lot of people get caught up in a placement. And with bikini especially, it's so subjective. And with a subjective sport, opinions come into play, like how much muscle is too much, how lean is too lean, how the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
So unlike bodybuilding, where it's like, you know, the biggest, the most muscular, symmetrical, vascular, leanest, whatever person wins. But in bikini, there's definitely room for more opinion as far as how much is too much, what's not enough. It's very subjective, just like ice skating, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It's kind of like hard to put your finger on what is the ideal physique for bikini whenever there's many varieties to choose from, athletic or softer, or you know what I'm saying, sexy versus cute, and you know, so
Yeah, I think that that's one of the things that is the hardest. I think it's the hardest thing, and you really need to be mentally tough for a bikini. People don't understand too, especially I'll get a lot of bodybuilders that are like, you know, they're like, why do you train so many bikini girls, whatever? And I was like, dude, it's, I think you think it's bikini of like when it, like 2009, when it first started, you know, and when bikini first started in, you know, 2009, it really was, you know, a bikini, like a regular bikini competition.
yeah.
It was like a, I guess you call it like a hot tropic, whatever type of, you know, bikini competition where it wasn't like it wasn't this crazy fitness thing. You'd see a girl at a restaurant who had a decent physique and you'd be like, hey, do you work out? Like, yeah, kind of, you know, you should do a bikini competition. And that was like the thing, you know, I was like, oh, she's got a small waistline. She's relatively in shape, no abs, like no abs, right? We don't want any abs in 2009, 2010. But a little bit of a fit girl who could just kind of walk on stage, who could be in a beach and be kind of curvy. That was it. And I was like, it's not like that anymore. The bikini athletes now are pretty much like the figure athletes were of 2009 and 10. Like they look pretty close to that, if not exact. Honestly, it's really close. Like they're probably leaner, to be honest, than the figure athletes of 2010, 2009. So it's a hard thing. Bikini is really hard for a lot of reasons. One is because you do have to specify your workouts so specifically. Like your workouts have to be so tailored to you actually working on key areas. And I tell bodybuilders that all the time. I'm like, if you think that your workouts are hard because of they're hard, I get that. But bikini girls' workouts are just as hard. Just for them, the weights relative to their physique to 120 pounds. But the main thing is that when you're getting under a glute bridge for the third time that week, and it's like it's Friday and you've done glutes on Monday and Wednesday, and on Friday, like being mentally tough in bikini to get under that and like, okay, I got to specify my shoulders again. Here we go again. Here's another shoulder workout on Friday. I've done it Monday and Wednesday, and I haven't been able to do what I want to do in the gym, which is heavy squats and deadlifts, because I love doing heavy squats and deadlifts, but I can't do that anymore. So it's like it's a different type of hardness, but also the mental part of like going into a bikini show, I think is so hard because for a bodybuilder or a men's physique guy, you're like, okay, I'm lean as I need to be. I'm absolutely peeled as I could possibly be, and that's as lean as I need to be. In bikini, you're like, okay, I'm lean as I need to be, but am I too lean? Or wait a minute, am I too soft today? What does this girl look like? Oh, I've seen her Instagram picture. She's shredded. Maybe I should be a little bit tighter because she's going to be shredded. You know, it's like, so there's like all these variables, and you really have to be mentally tough because we're talking to Dan a little while ago, and we were like, the margin of the argument that you can be made in bikini for first place, I can make the same argument of why she can be 20th place. And the same argument can go for 20th place. I can make the argument in bikini that she could be in first place. So like, you have to be so tough going into a show, knowing that your best that you've ever been might be too much compared to what the judges want to see you at. You know, we see it happen all the time.
The opinion comes in a little bit.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things, you really got to do it for the love of it.
Yes.
You obviously got to get feedback, especially at like the high levels, like where Ashley's at, and you got to just kind of cater your physique to what the judges want to see from you too. There is some, you know, listen to what they say, even if it might not be what you think is best on your physique. You need just like, hey, you gotta just go for it, you know? So that's the thing about bikini and these high level, like pro physique sports, is you really do gotta be willing to, I guess, kind of take feedback, run with it, even if you don't agree with that being what it is, and then cater your workouts to that, and not just, oh, hey, let's just go have a bunch of fun in the gym and do CrossFit with my friends, right? It's like, and that's not talking smack on CrossFit. I think CrossFit's the most fun workouts, honestly. Their workouts are super fun, but they're not for our sport, you know? So anyway,
Exactly.
I guess
and I think we've mentioned this before too. In bikini, it's one of those things too where you really shouldn't have necessarily a standout muscle group. You want everything to be even. You want everything to be, am I wording that correctly? Everything, like nothing should be more than the other.
Yeah.
which is why some of the best bikini athletes, you'll find that maybe they don't necessarily have like that one body part that's like, oh my gosh, look at that. Sometimes it's just like a mix of everything that's good, but not necessarily anything that stands out. If
Yeah.
I'm wording that.
No, you're right. You're
You know what I
wording it
mean?
right. And that's how in a good way, that's how I would talk about like Angelica. I would say there's everything on her is great and it's balanced, but you don't look at her and be like, that muscle is so amazing, you know, because it's balanced. And that's why you wouldn't say that, because it's perfectly balanced. And that's why she did so well, you know, because everything was balanced. But you wouldn't look at her and be like, her glutes are the best, you know, her glutes are the best, because nothing is so overdeveloped where it like stands out so much. Or like you look at Phil Heath and you're like, his shoulders are so crazy, his shoulders and arms are so crazy. Well, they're a little bit more developed than the rest of his physique, and that's why they stand out so much. So it's like little things like that. In bikini, you want to be balanced, balanced, balanced. Like you almost sometimes have to sacrifice things. For example, like in terms of sacrificing, Ashley has crazy glutes. They're awesome glutes. And how she sacrifices in the back pose, she pretty much just stands there. She doesn't push at all. Like her back pose now is like legit just standing there and not even like, I mean, you're barely even arching at this point. It's just kind of like,
depending on how lean I come in, but yeah.
yeah. And so that's the sacrifice, right? So creating the illusion of balance is another part of it for bikini. So
it's definitely a mental game to play. And I know that a lot of girls kind of have like a skewed view of what body parts are too much on them.
Yeah.
Because you'll see girls with capped shoulders, like borderline figure competitor shoulders pumping up. And I'm like, why are you pumping up? Your shoulders are huge.
Yeah. You gotta
you know what I mean?
You gotta be able to read the room when you're backstage.
Yeah, but it's kind of like one of those things. And then we've done seminars before too, like, and then they would ask questions. I remember specifically some girls would ask questions like, oh, how much should I train my shoulders? And you look at her and you're like, your shoulders are way beyond where you should not train.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So it is like one of those things. It's like sometimes you can't even see it on yourself. It's like you have to have like an eye, somebody with a good eye to tell you like, you need to back off this body part. You need to focus more on this one. So it's like, you know, and it's ever changing. Like I've done preps before where I needed to build up a different body part and the other one was just chilling and so on and so on. So it's just like a game you got to play. Like you said, it's a balance game. So
yeah,
it's always something different. But as far as our Olympia prep that we're going to do, we're basically going to focus mostly on the upper body because that's what needs the most loving right now. Pull their shoulders. They're so stubborn, you know. So to keep the shoulders going and to get them going a little more, we gotta work them bad boys.
We gotta work them out.
So my shoulder routine probably like 3 times a week.
Yeah, we're gonna stretch some
maybe
shoulders.
some arms too, maybe some upper back too. And then as far as the legs are concerned, probably hold off on training those to like the last month, and then even then maybe just train them once a week until the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't want them to overpower my upper body. So they gotta chill out a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, and it sounds weird. You're like, oh, what do you mean you're not going to work your legs? Like, and then that's where I think the stigma of like bikini becomes like, oh, she doesn't even work out type of thing. No, she's sculpting her physique. It's a totally different approach. Like a bodybuilder wouldn't really stop training his legs unless they were really overpowering to his physique. And so you just don't run into that with a lot of the other divisions. But in bikini, you have to kind of fit. There's a maximum amount of muscle you can have. So you really do got to assess your physique, and you really do. And I think that's honestly, I think that's what separates the good coaches from the great coaches is their eye. I think anyone can get you lean, whether it's healthy or not healthy. They can get you lean. It's not a really a high level skill to get someone lean. I've seen some of the most amateur coaches, even if they're wrecking people, get someone in show shape. That's not impressive to me. What's impressive to me is getting someone lean, they're lean, where you're not like messing them all up, getting them there lean, where they're coming out of the show and they're maintaining their physique, but also putting together a package that's sculpted to perfection. That's when I'm like, okay, that coach is high level, you know? And I've seen a few of them where they make a change on someone and I'm like, damn, that guy's, he's good. He's way better than like I thought he was as a coach or whatever, because they can see it and then they can change it. And then it's like, and what other coaches would have said, oh, she's good as it is. We didn't get the placing that we should have got or whatever. Like they'll see it and then change it. And all of a sudden they're a sculpture and you're like, how did she get so much better? Like she got so much better so quickly, you know? And so that's because she was more balanced, and it's hard to see that. And I think that that's where everyone needs to look at their physique, really assess it, really assess your workouts for, are you doing it for fun? What's the most enjoyable? Or are you doing it for purpose for the sport to excel in your sport the fastest you can go? And so, and I think that we've gotten really good at seeing your physique. Like we've been able to see your physique, like when things change, we're able to really like assess it and be good. And that's why I think you're going to be an awesome coach too, because you could see physiques. You could see it, you know, and that's what I've run into with a lot of like pro bikini competitors. Like they can see things better than even some of these coaches who've been around for a while. They live in it, you know, they live in a bikini body, you know, so it's like seeing it is such a huge thing that even advanced coaches have a hard time doing. So you have a really good eye. So yeah. So going into the Olympia. Okay. So we talked about kind of what we're going to do for your routine.
And I also want to talk a little bit about the cardio situation too, because although I did mention how much I'm training, I am doing cardio right now. And right now I am using Orange Theory as my cardio. So if you guys didn't know, Orange Theory is like a interval training type workout. And first, when I heard of Orange Theory, I thought it was like for just like soccer moms. Like this isn't a real workout, like, you know, but I went to a class and it was surprisingly beneficial to me because you can train as hard as you want. You can, you know what I'm saying? You can push as hard as you personally want to. So yeah, I burn a good at least 500 calories per session there. And that's a great way to start the day, you know, doing cardio. I'd rather do that than treadmill every single day. So it's great that I get to mix it up and I get to, you know, even sometimes even get to work some arms in there and all that, and even plyos. Plyos are great. But in Orange Theory, we do treadmill, we do rower, we do weights, plyos. It's different every time. Sometimes they will have us do ab exercises, and whenever they have us do ab exercises, I just substitute it for something different. So like, let's say if they're doing V-ups, I'll just do like glute bridges with a resistance band or something like that. But yeah, I've been doing those, and those have been really helpful to me because it's like fun cardio and it holds me accountable. All right. So if I sign up for a class, like, oh, I got a class tomorrow, I gotta wake up, I gotta, you know, get on it. So it's not just like you're procrastinating going to the gym or whatever, you gotta be there. And yeah, I plan on doing those until like I'm where I need to be in the leanness department. So once I get lean enough, like back to where I was, you know, then I will probably taper off that and then maybe do some more traditional types of cardio, like maybe some running, maybe a little step mill, maybe an elliptical. Just because one bad thing, I guess, that could happen with the Orange Theory is that since I am doing different types of exercises that gauge the entire body, but not necessarily precisely, like let's say we're doing like push-up claps or something, push-up plyos, or just that's an example, or even the row machine, you're engaging a little bit of the abs, the core, which for me, the goal is to not engage the core as much as possible. So no ab exercises, and really tried to not engage any core because I'm very prone to getting some crispy abs, which in bikini, they don't want to see crispies.
Yeah.
They don't want to see 6 Rice Krispie treats.
So I think, you know what, let's go ahead and go into like, I think that it, you know, people might want to know like the actual kind of game plan right now of what's going to happen with Ashley's prep going into Olympia. So you can kind of think about things, maybe you can use some of these. So here's my thought process on it right now. It could change tomorrow. Okay. But right now, as of today, we just did a check-in and this is kind of the plan. Okay. Do Orange Theory because it's fun. We're far enough out where if her abs get a little crazy, no big deal. We just want her to get lean and have fun doing it, get lean for hopefully, let's say 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks, and then she's in conditioning where she needs to be. We know that that's going to make her abs a little bit more crispy. We're not going to, so what we want to do is minimize any ab work the last 4 weeks, 3 weeks at least. Generally, it's about a 3-week process to get them to calm down a little bit. So
calm down
abs. So that's the first stage. Get her lean. Whatever happens with the abs happens with the abs. After that, we're try to reduce her core engagement the last 4 weeks, and we're going to do so by probably doing the stairs and maybe a little bit of running if we need to still to get her legs to kind of be maintained in their size. Ideally, the stairs would be great because she uses very little core engagement when doing the stairs. So we have to bring those abs down because her step mill, because her abs are just, they get crazy. That's just for her. Then we know that at about 2 weeks out to 3 weeks out, once we start training legs again, then there's going to be more pop to the glute tie-in for her. And then we know that at a week out, 10 days out, we pretty much stop lifting hard completely, because then she starts tightening up, everything starts reducing. So it's a process, and that's her process. I don't mind saying that out loud, because if you try that, it's probably going to mess you up.
Yeah, everyone's different.
Yeah,
Everyone's different.
It'll probably mess up your whole prep, and you'll just like go backwards, right? So like this is me and her since 2017 figuring this out type of scenario. It's a strong system, you know. So so now, as far as that's an advanced prep. You know, if you guys saw over the weekend, or actually during the week, Phoebe competed in the UK. She got second place at a pro show, which is awesome. Good, Phoebe, second place. You know, we wanted first, of course, but second's damn good, you know?
She looked amazing.
She looked good.
She's looking better every time.
Her prep, completely different, not even close to the same, right? So, you know, if you look at like Frida's prep right now, she's not doing any legs months out before she's going to compete, and just doing cardio for the bottom half completely. So it's like everyone's is going to be completely different, but you got to find your method. And that's just an example of like, as you start learning your physique and as you start doing this for longer periods of time, you're going to learn, what do I need to do to make my physique peaked out? And I think that, you know, I think that we have a winning recipe there for bringing an awesome package. So.
We're gonna make an awesome package cake with this recipe, bro.
Yeah. So
you know, you want a slice of that awesome cake, awesome package cake?
So, I do. I think everyone out there does. Everyone wants to see Ashley do well again at the O, right? So, so what else we got for him in terms of Olympia prep and whatnot?
So as far as another, well, I'll say it here. I don't know if I'll compete before Olympia. I am thinking of it. I'm thinking about it. I want to. I just don't know if strategically if it's a good idea to do so. There are a few shows on December 5th that I have my eye on, and I would like to do them. But the only conflict with that would be, I always like to go into Olympia on a good note, like usually finish off on a win is ideal. You know, come into Olympia with some confidence. You know, last time they saw me, like I said, I got first. They said, you look good. So if I were to compete on the 5th of December, which is 2 weeks before Olympia, if I were to compete, then if I don't do as well, that might be a hit to my confidence. You know what I'm saying? Which it wouldn't normally, but since it's like the last chance before Olympia, I have no other show to redeem myself with. Like if things didn't go so well, it might be a hit to my confidence. Like, you know, because like I said, there's no way I can redeem myself before Olympia. It's like the December 5th show, 2 weeks pass, and then the Olympia. So that would be like my last chance. But I really want to compete, you know, I love it. And I'm already bored. I mean, I want to compete tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the problem. So, keeping her off the stage is hard.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, I just really want to compete.
I think that's a good lesson for people to understand too about, you know, you competing and like, you know, of course we've already talked about competing and whatnot. And obviously the little controversy that people are like, hey, you shouldn't compete. Yeah, I know these people, like, they're like, you shouldn't compete. But what's funny,
more now.
Yeah, I know, right? What's funny is even Dan Solomon, who was there, he's like, we want to see the top athletes compete more, you know? And so just to give you guys some history, the old school guys that were competing in like the 90s, they would compete all the time. Like they basically ran a circuit. If you look at like even, you know, Dexter Jackson, Kevin Levrone, all those guys, they competed all the time. Chris Cormier, they competed all the time. And what happened was the actual point system didn't even exist. It was created because those guys competed so much that it was hard to get into the Olympics. So that's why the point system kind of started. So people don't like even understand the history of the sport, although they're kind of like the ones that are kind of complaining. But yeah, so as far as Ashley, she just likes to compete, you know, she likes to compete. So keeping her off the stage, hard to do. But I think that people, like, especially the people who are just getting started in the sport, need to understand that, like, yes, you can compete a lot if you want to. And
it's not miserable, it's fun.
Yeah, if you enjoy it and your physique allows you to do it, which is a huge factor in it. That's probably the biggest factors. For someone like Ashley, who doesn't have a lot of improvements to make on her physique in terms of she needs to gain a lot of muscle, there's nothing wrong with her staying contest lean very, very often. You know, everything's still, her hormones we're checking, they're still balanced. She still has a period. She's still staying healthy. Like there's nothing unhealthy when everything's we've checked her health. Everything's fine. So everyone's like, oh, if you're this low in body fat, you're unhealthy. No, we've checked her health all the time. Like
It's not even that low, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole nother, we've done podcasts on
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So
But my body fat is not even as low as people think. It's like 14 points something.
yeah,
It's nothing crazy.
yeah, and
Nothing crazy, guys.
so there's nothing wrong with her hanging out at, you know, 16, 17%, and then going down to 14 for a show, and then back up 16, 17%. So, so yeah, if you want to compete often, go get it, you know, get out there, have fun with it.
It's the athlete in me, man.
Yeah.
You know, just want to always compete. Which, by the way, guys, there are going to be 44 competitors in this year's Bikini Olympia.
Dang, it's crazy.
44, that's a lot. And as it was stated, more than any other division.
Yeah.
And even more so in previous years. So the whole argument that I'm stealing
You're
those cues. Yeah, I didn't steal 44, that's for sure.
Stealing shots. Yeah, it's stealing Olympic qualifications. Yeah, well, yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Honestly,
they even said they get criticized sometimes for even having too many.
I think the Olympia, honestly, my honest opinion is I think the Olympia should be 20. I think it should be 20 girls.
I wish,
because
honestly too, yeah.
44 girls doing a 1-minute posing routine before judging has even started. You're talking almost an hour. It's about an hour of just posing routines, because most girls' posing routine is about a minute. And then so it's about 1 minute, and then it takes like a minute and 10 seconds to get the next girl to come on, right? And so you're talking, yeah, at minimum, it's like 45 minutes of individual posing routines before the show actually starts. You know, I just want to see the best of the best.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily mind the time, but just I do like the Olympia because it's the best of the best. But yeah, there's a lot. I mean, but that's good though, because it means that there's a lot of shows going on, so I can't complain too much about that. But at the Arnold, I believe there's a cap at like 20 or 25. So
yeah, I think every year's a little different. I think it was like 18 this year or something.
Oh,
something crazy. But yeah, they
would have been 19 if I would have competed, but my eyeballs,
damn eyeballs,
operated on.
Yeah.
So I can see you guys, you know.
Yeah, but you're everything's good right now. Hopefully, knock on wood, you're healthy.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to health. Coke Zero advertisement right there. So anything else going into the O that you want to kind of let people be aware of or anything?
I am just, like I mentioned, my thoughts are I'm just kind of like excited, but also very nervous already getting those nightmares. You guys know about the nightmares. I have stupid nightmares that I like miss my class I slept in. Oops, I forgot to tan, or oops, I ate an entire cake before the show, or oops, I forgot to prep. I get those nightmares.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. So hopefully nothing stupid like that actually happens.
Yeah, you'll be.
But it's like one of those things is I do feel the pressure, you know, and like I've stated before, I would not trade winning the Olympia 3 times for anything in the world. It was the happiest moment in my life was when I first won in 2013, so unexpectedly as a rookie, as a underdog. However, with that comes the burden of expectation for every single show I enter in since then. The expectations of me doing well are high. So it's just like the outside influences kind of sometimes to get to me with the pressure a little bit. Like I just, like I mentioned, I don't want to disappoint anybody. And of course I'm going to get everything I got and try my best. But hopefully it all works out, and hopefully you'll be proud of me.
Oh yeah, I'm already proud of you. Yeah,
and you're gonna make sure I'm going to be on track though. You're going to be here in Vegas. We're going to be training a lot.
Yes.
You're going to be doing cardio with me, going to the Orange Theories.
If it's not at 4 in the morning. Ashley wakes up like 5 in the morning to do cardio. 4 or 5 in the morning.
Sometimes earlier. But yeah, so I don't know. I feel good about my physique right now. I feel like
you're ahead of schedule.
I'm very motivated. It's not like I'm tired. It's not like I'm over it. I'm okay with eating prep food right now. It's fine. I can't wait. But also comes a little pressure, and I'm sure I'll experience even more pressure as I get closer and closer. It's just such a big deal and such a big show. So yeah, that's expected, you know, just hopefully you can turn those nervous energies into positive, fun energies on stage.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for it. This is going to be a good one. It's nice. It's nice to be able to be here with you.
And it's our new hometown in Vegas.
Yeah.
How fun.
Yeah. We're actually shooting at my house right now because we're still working on getting the podcast room going. But the cool thing too is we will have the contest prep center very close to finished, if not finished, the Olympia week. And then I'll make some announcements about that too. Actually, we just came from there. Ashley saw it.
Yes.
Got to see her office. She'll be coaching out of there too soon, guys. So yeah. So
and if you need posing, we got you.
Actually, we'll be posing people at the prep center.
Yes.
Yeah, one-on-ones in person. She doesn't do videos because she doesn't like the connection stuff.
Technology at that. Maybe further down the line when the internet connection is solid, and
Maybe.
I'm being a little stubborn, I guess, with that. I get asked that a lot if I do online, but not
You
right
know
now.
what?
Maybe later.
Now it's like, hey, make a trip to Vegas, come out, do a posing session with Ash, whatever.
And then also visit Coach Adam.
Yeah, visit.
That's what people want.
Do some do a 3D scan, test your metabolism, whatever. We're gonna have a whole thing. You have a workout gym with a gym.
High five, you know.
Get a high five. Get a COVID high five where we don't actually touch. Yeah, gloves only, right? So yeah, that'll be done then at that point. The equipment, we're planning on moving the equipment in on the 11th of December. So that's how close we are to getting it done.
Mm-hmm. And also I wanted to mention too, that we will be documenting this whole Olympia prep journey experience on the YouTube.
Yes.
On my channel, Ashley Kaltwasser with a K. And then also Team Elite Physique. You're going to have it in your vlogs, which your vlogs have been fire lately. Might I add? So fire. Everyone loves Adam's vlogs.
Oh, thanks for that. Yeah.
I always hit the like button and drop a stupid comment on those things.
You're my number one and only person who watches it. So I'm going to keep doing them for you.
No. He's got a cult following.
What's really funny is that it was the things, and Anya is the one that got me doing like the vlogs. She's like, I know you don't think it's interesting, but everyone else thinks it's interesting of what you think is not interesting. So just film everything. And I was and she's like, and I'll edit it and we'll make vlogs. So
Anya's just a little blessing. So Anya, if you're listening to this, you're a gem.
Yeah, she'll be listening to this because she's gonna edit it.
Hi, Anya. Hi, you're awesome. You better keep this in.
Yeah, so Anya will be at the new prep center. We have some really huge news coming out of the prep center with who some of the coaches are. Yeah. I'm not gonna give too much away but there's some crazy things happening that even I didn't expect would be this crazy at that prep center. But I'll tell you, someone's coming from Sweden, moving to Vegas to work there, which is crazy. We'll announce that in December. And then there's also another big coach that's gonna be working with us.
Not necessarily big in size, but
a
big name.
Big name, and also pretty decent in size too.
Big in size, not like 400 pounds or
No,
anything.
it's not like but you'll be shocked. So it's going to hopefully take the Team Elite Physique men's divisions to another level, which we've been doing well in men's divisions for a long time, but having another expert opinion in there and another expert coach who's going to help run like the coaching part on the men's side is going to be a huge blessing, and been a friend of his and a fan of his for a long time. So yeah, it's going to be good, man. It's going in a whole different, it's next level, man. It really is. I'm really proud of it. I'm really happy to be there. It's next level stuff. It's going to be crazy. I can't imagine like coming, like when I was younger, there was no gyms like that. You know, there still isn't any gyms like that. There's still no prep centers like that. But I mean, I can just imagine, okay, I'm going to Vegas for a weekend. I'm going to go there. I'm going to give the girl side of it because I'm not going to announce who the guys are. But like, I imagine being like a bikini competitor, coming in, getting a 3D scan, metabolism tested, going into a team lift, working out, doing a posing class with Frida, Ashley, Anya, Phoebe, potentially there too all the time, like with these top level people. And then like, that's my weekend. I'm like, how did I just experience all that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's just a crazy thing that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Like, because I remember being a competitor and I remember like, I would have killed for that opportunity, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I could have went into a posing seminar in a private gym and like Sean Roden was doing a guest posing or teaching posing class, I'd be like, how did this happen? You know? And so I remember as a kid, how much I loved this stuff. And I hope that you guys get to all experience it and have some fun. And you're all welcome here. I don't care what team you're from. I'm not going to charge. We're going to have posing classes there all the time. And so I hope you guys come out and take advantage of it.
Yes, I want to meet you guys and give you high fives.
Yes. So she's all about the high five today.
Yeah.
So I guess with that, that's basically it. So keep in touch. We're going to be doing this YouTubing for Olympia vlog. You'll probably see some of our stuff actually on the Olympia channel itself, which we talked about with Dan today. With Muscle and Fitness. So so stay tuned there too. They're going to be putting out a lot of really cool content going to Olympia. And we'll just kind of go from here. So
yeah, we love you guys so much.
Yeah.
Maybe other people don't, but we love you guys.
Yeah.
So regardless of what anybody says, we're still your friend. Okay. Especially since you made it to the end of this podcast.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. You guys are the real deal.
The real deal.
True ones here.
So thank you guys.
The ride or dies, man.
The ride or die. So thank you guys so much. if you can, if it's not too much trouble, we don't ever have any advertisements or anything like that on this. So if you could just rate us 5 stars and tell your friends if you liked it. And if you didn't like it, just keep it to yourself.
But we still like it.
Yeah, well, we still like you. So anyway, we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for
Bye-bye.
watching.